You are listening to A Scary State, and this week we're talking about Idaho? No, Idaho. So, Lauren?
Yes, Kenzie.
Let's get scary.
I had a feeling you were going to do that, and I'm so proud you did.
Thank you. Thank you. It came to me last minute. Idaho? No, Idaho.
Remember when that was like the big thing in middle school?
Oh, yeah.
We felt so cool. Ooh, and hackas. When you would
Huh?
sign that in a yearbook, have a kick-ass summer.
Or hags.
Well, but hags would just have a great summer. Hackas, you got to have a like bad word in there. Have a kick-ass summer.
Right.
And then people are like, oh my God, look at what I'm writing
You
in this
cursed.
yearbook. I know.
Now it's like, if you don't, you're a loser, which is annoying.
What if you don't
As a
curse, you're a
teacher.
loser?
Kids curse.
Just like openly in class?
No. More so, definitely more so when they think you can't hear them.
Oh,
And I always say, I'm like, if I can't, you can't.
I think that's fair.
Yeah. Although there's a lot of things that I do. Like, well, why can't we do that? And I'm like, because I'm an adult.
Like what?
Sitting on the desks.
Oh,
Yeah. Chewing gum, although they chew gum. I don't like it, but some people let them get away with it.
in 7th grade, I got in trouble for chewing gum. I had to stay after class for 5 minutes.
Yeah, we're not that strict. I just make them spit it out.
It was my science teacher.
What's with science teachers being so strict?
I don't know, but I remember it specifically, and I was like terrified.
Who'd you have in 7th grade?
Miss. She was kind of older, and she had dark hair. She was kind of strict. That's all I can remember. That was like 20 years ago.
Okay, that's aggressive.
It was, okay? If you think about 6th grade was 20 years ago. Okay, 19 years ago.
Well, we started it 20 years ago
Okay.
because we started in 2025 or 2005, Jesus, and then ended in 2006.
Okay, so it was almost 20 years ago, Mackenzie.
Yes. But you know what I realized? I feel like we've been saying that we've been friends for 20 years.
For the past like 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, now
We were
it's
just
20.
rounding up. Now it's 20 years.
Yeah. I'm like, we've been friends for 20 years for like a few years now.
Yeah. I had the same thought the other day.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm just going to put a 20, then I'll do a little plus sign after it so that
Yeah.
it like still makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. No like official start date, but it's around 20 years ago this time.
Right.
Yeah. About this month.
Ooh, so I saw Ice Nine Kills this week.
Yes. How was that?
They were incredible. Dayseeker was incredible.
Of course.
Funeral Portrait, wonderful.
Love it.
And then we listened to, what was their name? Something with an M and an S. Mist? No.
Murder.
Something. But they were good. And then we heard this person called Kim Dracula.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. If you like Kim Dracula, great for you.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not my cup of tea, but he really really leans into the Dracula thing of it. So he does a lot of like Dracula voices.
I want to suck your blood.
Not that. I will play it for you. But there was one song where Joe and I just looked at each other and then looked back at the stage like so confused because I had no idea what he was saying. It sounded like and I was like, what is going on?
Interesting.
Yeah, it was wild. But so where we went to MGM.
Mm-hmm.
Joe and I tried to do like a machine beforehand because we had like an hour to kill.
Right.
We both put in $20.
Mm-hmm.
I won back $17.
Nice.
Joe won back 5 cents.
Nice.
So I said,
So neither one of you made money.
No. Joe was like, well, instead of like wasting $40, I only wasted 23. And I said, that's the way to think about it.
Sure.
Yeah. But no, the concert was great. But the weird thing was, so we were up in seats.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was like the floor below us.
Like more of like a theater vibe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, no one stood up for like any of the first couple bands, which is like fine because you usually don't
Sometimes
stand
that
up.
happens, yeah.
Right. Which is fine. Well, then when Ice Nine Kills comes on, no one stands up. And I was like, this is weird.
Yeah.
And so a little group in front of us stood up because like you had like the first row stood up. So a couple other people stood up.
Yeah.
So then one girl, she was standing, she was dancing, she was doing her thing. And a guy behind her yells, sit the fuck down. And she's like, this is a concert. You're supposed to
Right.
stand up. So I applauded her.
Yeah.
And Joe was like, Lauren, I said, she's correct. So the guy's yelling at her more. She's yelling back at him. They're like yelling at each other.
And that's not easy music to yell over.
No. So the usher comes over and makes everyone sit down.
That's bullshit.
So we were sitting at a rock concert. And I was like, who sits at these kinds of concerts?
I wonder, like, the view from the stage.
Right.
Like, what that would have looked like.
Right. It was so weird. So I was sitting on, like, the very edge of my seat.
Yeah.
And I was screaming every word.
Of course.
No one around me was singing. No one around me was bobbing their heads. It was so weird. I was like,
maybe they had just come to see Kim Dracula.
But they weren't. The people around me were silent throughout every single person. So, like, for Funeral Portrait, I was singing some of their songs. For Dayseeker, Joe and I, like, you can't, like, scream to Dayseeker, but, like, we were, like, singing along.
Yeah.
And then for Ice Nine Kills, I was screaming, but I was like, no one else is. But thankfully, they play loud enough that no one could really hear me.
Well, yeah.
But still, I was like, who are any of you here to see?
Did people at least, like, woo when they were done?
No!
They just politely clapped?
I wooed.
Well, of course.
And I screamed, and other people in front of me wooed, but, like, the people, like, immediately around me, not a noise.
Pleasant.
And they were wearing, like, Ice Nine Kills shirts.
Maybe they were bummed that they couldn't stand up, and it just killed their vibe.
Maybe. But it was, like, the weirdest thing.
I don't know. That is odd.
And then it took hard.
But yeah. But, you know, what's interesting is, like, given their thing, it kind of makes sense to be in a theater.
Yeah.
It's like a performance.
Oh, it's 100% a performance.
So.
And this was, like, more performance-y than I've seen before of them. And I've seen them, like, 7 times.
Right.
This was, like, their most performance-y one.
I mean, you could probably do that in a theater type place.
It was so good.
Well, as long as it was still good.
It was still great.
Yeah. That's what's important.
And then it took us an hour and a half to get out of the parking garage.
I'm sure it did.
Or about an hour. Ugh, it was so bad. And there were some people who were, like, assholes and, like, cutting corners. I was like, you are the reason.
You're the reason we're all stuck here.
If everyone just goes like I go and then I let the person in, then the next person, you get out of there.
A
but
zipper.
no, people suck.
Yeah, people feel entitled.
Yeah, they do.
Well, you had a much better week than I did.
Why was your week bad, Mackenzie?
Because my apartment building almost blew up. I would come home 5 o'clock. It's like, something smells funky. And it was like one of those things, like, you know, when you smell something familiar and at first you're just like, I know what that is, but what is it?
Yeah.
That's like what it was. I was like, I know this. Well, what is it? So I go into my apartment, mom's sitting there, and I was like, there's a funky smell in the hallway. And she was like, yeah, it smelled like that all day.
Could you smell it in your apartment?
Not unless you were standing right by the door.
Okay.
So I knew it wasn't my apartment.
Right.
And I was like, what is this smell? And at the same time, her and I were like, it's gas. So I like call the emergency hotline or the emergency, not hotline.
911?
Yes, I called them too, but the maintenance, the emergency maintenance line. Because in my head, I was like, they're going to be able to get into whatever apartment
right
is probably causing this. Because all the apartments have like codes to get in.
Yeah.
It's not like a key or whatever. But in there, it was just like, you know, if you smell gas, call 911. So I looked at mom and I was like, it says to call 911. She's like, not the gas company? I was like, no.
Yeah, 911 first. When we had all of that stuff happen at our last place,
Yeah.
we had to call 911.
So called.
Did they tell you to get out of the apartment?
No.
Oh.
I mean, no.
Huh.
Because I said it wasn't in my apartment. It was just in the hallway.
Yeah.
Like, I told her, I was like, they can still come in, but my apartment is not why it smells like that in there.
We had a hallway one, again, like a week after we had the one in my apartment at my last place. And everyone, like, we all went outside.
Yeah, no one, even when the fire people got there.
Huh.
There was like no one pulled like an alarm or anything. I was a little irked because this one guy was coming down. I think he was like going into work as like the firemen like showed up. And I was like explaining, I was like, you know, I just came home. It smelled like gas. Like, I don't know where it's coming from. And, you know, we were like, he was saying like, oh, there's 2 apartments in the building where like someone moved out. So they were like turning it over.
Mm-hmm.
And so could it be in those 2 or one of those 2, like something accidentally got turned on or whatever.
Right.
And he was like, oh yeah, it smelled like that all day. And in my head, I was like, so why didn't you call?
Well, why didn't your mom call?
Because she doesn't live there.
Okay.
So I was like, I'll give you that.
But yeah, like gas isn't one of those things where you're like, maybe it'll disperse.
And it did not, when I left at like 8 that morning, it did not smell like that.
Interesting.
And she was like, yeah, it smelled like that since like maybe 10. So that's 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 hours of that building up. Thank God no one lit a candle.
Right. To be like, something smells bad. Let me light a candle.
Exactly. So,
No cute firefighters.
one was kind of cute-ish.
Eh.
But, okay. So, one shows up. Fine. And then, like, the little truck thingy.
The fire truck?
No. Like, the pickup truck emergency vehicle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that shows up too. And then another fire truck shows up. And then another fire truck shows up.
Oh my gosh.
3 fire trucks. One had the little ladder thingy.
Jeez.
And at one point, there was like 5 of them in the building because they had like little detector thingies.
Oh, yeah.
And so they figured out that it was coming from the apartment right next to mine.
Oh.
And so I assume, she has a young little girl. She wasn't home. So I assume she made breakfast and either didn't turn it off all the way
Oh,
or
maybe.
something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But because it's a code, you can't get in. And like there's an emergency code, but I think it's just to get into the building,
Oh.
which is stupid.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I guess it's for safety reasons, though, because if someone bad figured out that, like, emergency code,
true. Yeah.
but still, like, in situations like this.
Right. There should be something.
Yeah.
But, whatever. So at one point, there's like 5 firemen standing there trying to figure out how to open this door. And I was like, such a man thing to do.
How many firefighters does it take?
Right. But I'm like looking around at all the fire trucks and I'm like, not that I'm ungrateful, but this seems a bit excessive.
Yeah.
Like,
That's a lot of fire trucks.
I was like, did we just not communicate on who was going to take the call and we all showed up?
You know, that very well could have been.
Like,
Or maybe they were like, I haven't been on a call in days.
yeah.
Let's go to something.
And like there's a fire station literally up the road.
Huh.
So I wasn't expecting it to take long or anything.
Yeah.
But I was just like, this is kind of embarrassing. This is a lot, guys. You're like doing too much.
You're making us look bad.
Yeah, like calm the fuck down.
Well,
But-
I'm glad it was nothing.
Yeah, and then the big firefighter guy, who I think was in charge, he looked like he was in charge.
Yeah.
They couldn't get the door open, which like kind of made me feel a little bit safer that it was really hard for the firemen to be able to get into that door when they have the tools that they do.
Right.
So I was like, okay. But they got a ladder and they took the screen out from the window
Oh.
to try to get into the window, but you can't open the window from the outside if the stick thingy is in there blocking it.
Right.
I guess there was one that didn't have anything blocking it, which I guess was good. So opens the window. It's a small window.
Yeah.
I see a fire lady standing right there, and I'm like, oh, okay, she'll probably go in because she's tiny.
Yeah.
No.
Big guy did it.
Big guy did it. And it was like me, my mom, and then like a neighbor were standing there watching.
Obviously.
And we were all like, that's really impressive.
Maybe they needed someone who had like the upper body strength. I mean, she
No, it was a
probably did
ladder.
too. Oh, right. I don't know.
I didn't think he was going to fit.
Yeah.
Like, he was a big dude.
Well, good on him.
So I was like, that's really impressive. Like, good for you, dude. Yeah. And so they figured it out. I'm sure, I'm assuming it was a stove.
Yeah, probably.
And so they came out, there's like this fan thingy, and it like literally sucked it out of the building.
Yep. We had that.
And then, yeah, that was it. They all skedaddled.
Yeah.
And
And then you're just kind of like,
I
okay,
tried to say
bye.
thank you. Some of them were like really appreciative of it, and some were just like, yeah. And I was like, okay, well, sorry.
The second time we had to call, when it was just in the hallway of our apartment, not in like one specific apartment, they were like, well, you guys are really only supposed to call if like the smell's making you nauseous or giving you a headache. And we're like, there's the smell of gas.
Right.
Like, we're gonna call. And he's like, I mean, it's good you did, but like, you don't really need to unless it's like something intense. And I was like, no, we called because it's the smell of gas.
Yeah. Because I mean, I told the dispatcher lady, I was like, I just got home, but apparently it smelled like this all day.
Mm-hmm.
She was just like, she was getting information, and then she, was saying that they were on their way. My mom went to go take the dog out, and I just like stepped outside to like hold the door open. I mean, as soon as I walked outside, I could hear them coming.
Yeah.
And again, they also had like the sirens on. I was like, guys, it's okay. Nothing is on fire yet.
Wow.
So it's,
If someone had lit a candle or
Yeah.
started their oven right at dinner time.
but wouldn't they have to do it in the hallway for that to be?
I don't know how that works, Kenzie.
But yeah, so I saved my apartment building.
Oh, not all heroes wear capes.
Right. Thank you so much. But yeah, everything was fine.
Oh, well, thank goodness.
Her door was fucked up.
Yeah.
Then the maintenance people called me like an hour later and they were like, "Oh yeah, just want to let you know, like we fixed the problem." And I was like, "Cool." And I was like, "You didn't fucking fix shit.
You did nothing.
I called 911.
I have been here the whole time.
Right. I was like, "You maybe fixed her door." But
Also, why they didn't like come and unlock the door for the firefighters. Yeah, weird.
by the time a maintenance person got there, they were already in.
Wild.
Which is like, as I was standing there, like looking around, I was like, it's insane to me that there is no one I can contact from my complex of like, hey, there's an emergency happening in a building.
Right.
So.
Maybe this will spark something.
That was a good one. Doubtful, but that was a good one.
Thanks.
So, yeah, it was an eventful week.
Sounds like it.
I just don't need anything else to happen. I just want to be able to go home after work and just
Yeah.
not think about anything.
Yeah.
So,
Are you ready to hear about Idaho?
I am. Oh, disclaimer. I was slacking this week. As you can tell, I had a very stressful week. I was sleepy. And I wrote my story this morning before I came over.
Yep.
And I chat GBT'd the state facts, which is what I normally do, but I take the time to fact check them.
Right.
Because chat GPT, you can't always be sure.
Right. And then you give a little background information.
Right. I didn't do that.
Okay.
So if something we say didn't happen in Idaho or just didn't happen at all, sincerely apologize.
Right.
But
back on our A game next week.
100%.
Yeah.
I'll be back with it. But until then, hopefully these are all true.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Idaho's early 20th century was shaped by violent clashes between mine owners and union laborers. We've had a lot of like mine union issues.
Well, yeah, because, especially going into the Industrial Revolution, post-Civil War and big cities are being built up and steel is coming out. There was no regulation for how people worked.
Yeah.
Most people are probably used to working long hours if they're especially farmhands and things like that, or if you own your own business, whatever it is. And so as you're going to do this other labor-intensive work, of course, the people that are making money want you to work for as long as possible.
Well, duh.
And that's also when we had child labor laws because children, especially within cities, were working in factories that had really unsafe conditions, especially for children.
Yeah.
And so, but a lot of people, like the workers, clashed a lot with the mine owners or whoever owners because they knew that if the union won and therefore they would have to follow whatever the union put in place,
right,
that would mean that they would lose money.
Yeah.
And so, given that it's 1905,
right,
that's why we're going to hear a lot of that stuff. See, I can still give some historical facts.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Former Governor Frank Steunenberg, once a labor ally, later called in federal troops to quell minor uprisings during the
Cure de Alain.
labor wars. On December 30th, 1905, he was killed by a bomb rigged to the front gate of his home in Caldwell. Investigators traced the attack to Harry Orchard, a former miner with ties to the radical Western Federation of Miners. The high-profile trial of union leaders, including Big Bill Haywood, captivated the nation. Although Haywood was acquitted, Orchard, I don't know why that's like tripping me up.
Well, because every time I see Orchard, I never know, is it Orchard or
Orchid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apple
Orchard.
There's another one, though, isn't
there? There is, and I know what you're talking about. Yep. Orchard confessed and spent the rest of his life in prison. The assassination remains a pivotal moment in Idaho's history, revealing the explosive tensions between labor and capital.
Awkward.
One of the darkest chapters in modern Idaho history unfolded at Ruby Ridge in Boundary County.
I know this one is true. I don't know specifically what happened, but they mention it in Criminal Minds.
Did they talk about Randy Weaver?
No, they talk about Ruby Ridge and it's in an episode where it's very similar to a Waco situation. And so they during the show, they'll reference other well-known cases that are similar to whatever it is that they're doing.
Right.
And so during that one episode,
I have heard Ruby Ridge.
Yeah, they talked about, they don't want another Waco and then they were also talking about Ruby Ridge. I never knew where it happened or what happened till
but now we do.
Just now.
So Randy Weaver, a survivalist with ties to white supremacy groups, retreated with his family to a remote cabin after a firearms charge. When federal marshals attempted to arrest him, a tense 11-day standoff began. A U.S. Marshal and Weaver's teenage son were killed, and his wife Vicky was fatally shot by an FBI sniper while holding their infant daughter. Was the daughter okay?
I think so.
The incident sparked outrage, raising questions about government overreach and the militarization of law enforcement, and is often cited as a turning point in anti-government militia movements.
And I think Waco was the year after. I think Waco was 93.
It's a good question. Here's the thing I wonder too. Right now, if we ever have a question at any moment in time, we can look it up and get the answer.
know.
Back then,
Never do.
back then, people couldn't. And like they would just have to sit with this question
Mhm.
until they could find like an encyclopedia.
Or a newspaper article.
Right.
Yeah, 1993.
Look at you.
Oh.
Before Idaho was a state, one of the deadliest massacres of Native Americans in U.S. history took place near present-day Preston. On January 29th, 1863, U.S. Army troops attacked a Shoshone encampment, killing an estimated 250 to 500 men, women, and children.
I think it's Shoshone.
Shoshone, I think you're right. The Bear River Massacre was long overshadowed in history books, often mislabeled as a battle, but survivors' accounts tell a story of indiscriminate slaughter. Today, the site is remembered as a place of mourning and resilience for the northwestern band of the Shoshone.
See, and it's something like that where I'm like, yeah, that probably happened. Like, I
Well-
know I could probably fact check that pretty easily, but it's like, there was most likely a massacre of Native Americans.
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
I
there's-
mean, that's not surprising to me at all,
Right.
especially in the 1800s.
yeah. This is because this was when we were, the
Yeah.
big westward expansion.
Yeah.
So we had to kick people out because we wanted their shit.
Yep. Yeah. When 18-year-old Angie Dodge was found murdered in her Idaho Falls apartment, the case shook the community. Investigators quickly zeroed in on Christopher Tapp, a young man who eventually confessed after hours of intense interrogation. For 2 decades, Tapp sat in prison, despite no physical evidence linking him to the crime.
Sounds like a coerced confession.
Mm-hmm. In 2019, advanced genetic genealogy identified the real killer, Brian Lee Drips. Drips and Tapp. Angie's mother, Carol Dodge, became a tireless advocate for her daughter, fighting for justice even as she watched another man wrongly incinerated. Incarcerated. The case exposed deep flaws in the interrogation tactics and forensic investigation in Idaho.
Not coercion. False confession.
I mean, it could be both.
Yeah, because like they say, like especially if it's been a long time, he's gotten little sleep or whatever. Like the studies say that people will say just about anything to get it to stop.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
So-
that's part of the coerced confession as well.
Yeah.
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 No, so you were absolutely right when you said, like, the first thing you said.
Yes, but I was like, that wasn't what I was thinking of.
Oh.
I was like, I know it's not wrong, but it was not the word I was trying to come up with.
Right.
So
9-year-old Stephanie Crane vanished while walking home from a bowling alley in the small town of Chalice on October 11th, 1993. Despite immediate searches, community efforts, and national media coverage, Stephanie was never found. Over the years, multiple suspects have been questioned, including a convicted murderer, but no one has ever been charged. Her disappearance remains Idaho's oldest unsolved missing child's case, haunting the community with unanswered questions and lingering grief.
this one I know because either we've talked about it or I think maybe you talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember. Maybe you talked about it with when we did like our movie crimes based on movies.
Oh, maybe.
I don't know, but I
Oh.
always see her name when I'm searching for Idaho stuff. So I know that this one happened.
In September 2006, 16-year-old Casey Stodart was house sitting for relatives in Pocatello when she was brutally stabbed to death. Investigators discovered that 2 of her classmates, Brian Draper and Tori Adamsick, had plotted the murder for months, inspired by horror films like Scream. Did you cover
this
Yeah, you covered this one.
because this is the one where they had the videotape.
Yes, and where they were making the noises in the basement to try to lure her out, but they didn't realize that she was with her boyfriend.
Yes, this was the one.
Yeah, you definitely covered this.
covered
This
this
one was
one.
like an hour long that you
Yes,
covered. Yeah.
because I watched the video
Mhm.
of the two of them like talking about it.
Yeah, you showed me clips afterwards.
Yeah, when they were like in the library.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking creepy.
And in their car.
In the car, like driving around, like talking about it, and then right after it happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, they even recorded themselves planning and boasting about their intentions. The shocking betrayal by peers and the calculated nature of the crime left the community reeling and raised concerns about the influence of violent media on vulnerable teenagers.
And she was like not like friends with them, but
but she was like friendly with them.
Right, like-
yeah.
she didn't do anything.
Right.
They just wanted.
They wanted to know what it was like.
Mhm.
And yes, Scream is also the killing of Scream is inspired by Danny Rawling,
Yeah.
who is the killer from Florida, known as I think he's also the Gainesville Ripper. But either way, he is so scary.
Yeah.
He's I think one of my other, up there with, Ariel Castro.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
one of the
yeah.
scary ones up there for me.
Well, looking at this, I was like, maybe she did it because I saw Scream,
Yeah,
and I
no,
was like, "She likes that movie."
you definitely yeah, I do.
I
You
did.
definitely covered this one.
I think this was in our last Idaho episode.
Definitely one of them.
Pretty sure it was the last one.
Yeah,
I don't know what number that is, but
I don't remember either.
just scroll until you see Idaho again.
Or search Idaho.
Yeah, if you wanna, listen to it.
Beyond Stephanie's story, Idaho is haunted by a number of unsolved disappearances and murders. Cases like the 1983 vanishing of 12-year-old Christina White in Assateague County, just across the state border but linked to Idaho, and several missing persons along rural highways highlighted the persistent mystery of Idaho's cold case corridor. These unsolved cases have fueled speculation about serial predators operating in the region, keeping families searching for decades.
Cold case corridor. That's something to put a pin
Yeah,
in
I
that and
don't
come back to later.
also wouldn't love having that in my state.
You know,
Yeah.
no.
On May 2nd, 1972, a devastating fire broke out at the Sunshine Mill in Kellogg, Idaho, the largest silver mine in the nation. The fire quickly filled the shafts with toxic smoke, trapping miners underground. Despite rescue efforts, 91 miners lost their lives, making it one of the deadliest mining disasters in U.S. history. The tragedy led to new safety standards and remains a somber reminder of the dangers faced by those who toiled in Idaho's mines.
You know what? Like, I get it, but, like, it sucks, is I feel like majority of the time, the things that are put in place that, like, we know of now that we would be like, "I can't believe this wasn't a thing before,"
Uh-huh.
but it was because it wasn't a thing before, and
Right.
then something bad happens.
Only comes about because of a tragedy.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, there's has to be someone who's probably knowledgeable enough that has told somebody, "Hey, if you don't have this, that, and the other in place, this could happen."
Oh, absolutely, but then it's going to cost money.
Right.
And places aren't going to want to spend unnecessary money.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I can't bring myself to believe that we're just that stupid and
No.
don't think of whatever as a
They
possibility.
probably did, but whatever they needed probably was more money than they were willing to spend.
Yeah. Except for maybe like seatbelts,
Yeah.
because that we figured out as cars,
Yeah.
whatever. But by 1972 in a mine?
Yeah, actually, that seems very late for a mine
Yeah,
to not have more safety precautions.
exactly.
Deep in the mountains near Wallace, the mining town of Burke was once a booming silver hub, but the town's location in a narrow canyon made it prone to disaster. Avalanches frequently buried homes and people. In one infamous incident in 1910, an avalanche wiped out part of the town, killing 23 people. Later, the Great Fire of 1910, one of the largest wildfires in U.S. history, devastated the area further. Today, Burke is a ghost town, its ruins a haunting reminder of both natural and man-made disasters.
Speaking of that Great Fire.
Oh, the next one?
Yeah.
I was going to say, for that one, though, an avalanche and a fire in 1910.
I know.
Oof.
That really bad earthquake in San Francisco was in 1906.
Jeez. All right, so yeah, about that Great Fire.
Mhm.
In August 1910, dry conditions and high winds fueled one of the largest wildfires in American history. Known as the Big Burn, the fire scorched more than 3 million acres across
Oh.
northeastern Washington, western Montana, and northern Idaho. Entire towns were destroyed and 86 people were killed, many of them firefighters who perished while battling the flames.
Wow.
The disaster reshaped U.S. forest policy, leading to more aggressive firefighting efforts by the U.S. Forest Service, but it also left behind haunting stories of loss and survival that are still remembered today.
Wow. That's a lot of land.
That is a lot of land. Because, yeah, I was thinking, I don't know. I don't know how big Idaho is, but I was like, wow, 3 million acres seems like a lot.
Well, if it goes from Washington and Idaho and Montana, it's got to be like the skinny part.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Up where, the face of Montana is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So that's Idaho.
That is Idaho.
What spooky tea you pouring, Lauren?
So I have a little mixed bag for this episode.
Ooh.
So I started to find one thing, and I only got 3 pages. And I said, okay, we got to add more.
Yeah. I was wondering when I saw what you put in the spreadsheet, I was like, are those 2 different stories or 2 stories that have
They're
to do with
different
the
stories.
same place?
They're different stories.
Okay.
They both take place in Idaho.
That's their only consistency then?
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool.
All right. So I'm sure some people living in Idaho or avid hikers know of the Zone of Death.
No.
It is a 50 square mile or 130 kilometer squared area in the Idaho
Square
section.
kilometers, but that's okay.
It says km squared.
Yes, but you say it kilometers
Okay, then it
squared.
should be different.
No, it's that's how you write it. It would say, if it was miles, it would be m and then the squared, but you wouldn't say
Oh,
miles
yeah.
squared.
I wouldn't.
Yeah,
You're correct.
I know.
Okay, square kilometers. Area in the Idaho section of Yellowstone National Park. So
Oh,
fun
they have a
fact.
national park too.
My
Not that
goodness.
one, but
So fun fact, Yellowstone became the world's first national park in 1872 before Idaho, Wyoming, and Montana even became states.
yeah, because of Teddy Roosevelt.
Very
He
nice.
was big into conservation.
He'd be so sad today.
Oh, yeah.
He's probably rolling in his grave.
Yeah.
So this section in Idaho is one of the most rugged and remote parts of Yellowstone National Park. It also happens to be one of the least visited parts of the park. There are no roads, and even the trails can barely be seen. Nobody lives here, and nobody else sets up camp to sleep here overnight.
So it seems like you just shouldn't go there,
Yeah, pretty much.
especially if it's the death zone.
Yeah, well, zone of death. Close enough. So needless to say, there is no one who lives in the zone of death
Okay.
either.
But can anyone live in the park anyway? Like no one
I
can live
don't
there.
think so.
Yeah.
But
I mean, like, you could
regardless.
camp, but like you can't live there.
Right, but no one camps here anyways.
Okay,
So no one
yeah.
lives here, no one camps here.
Yeah.
People just don't typically go here.
Yeah.
So this part of Idaho got its name, Zone of Death, as theoretically, a person may be able to avoid conviction of any major crime up to and including murder if that crime were to happen in the Zone of Death.
What?
So this
Are we
part...
about to give people advice?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yes.
No. So this part of Yellowstone is technically in Idaho, but it is also contained within the borders of Montana.
Hmm.
I didn't know how that worked. That's what online told me, and I said, cool. So the United States District Court for the District of Wyoming is
Mhm.
currently the only U.S. district court to have jurisdiction over parts of multiple states because of Yellowstone.
Right.
So by
And because
reason...
there's 5 people in each state.
Right. So by reason of its jurisdiction, including all of Yellowstone National Park, which extends slightly beyond Wyoming's boundaries into Idaho and Montana.
Mhm.
So it has jurisdiction
Yeah.
over Idaho and Montana,
Because it has
parts of Yellowstone.
Yes. Okay.
Correct. Yeah, if you look at a map of where Yellowstone is, you see Wyoming right here,
Mhm.
and then Yellowstone just goes right outside and borders
Yeah.
it very nicely.
Yeah.
So there's this thing called the vicinage
I don't know.
clause in the Constitution, which was added in 1791. This clause is a provision in the Sixth Amendment. So Mackenzie, pop quiz. What is
I
the
have no
Sixth
idea.
Amendment?
I know the 5th is our Miranda rights.
Right?
Is 6 search and seizure?
No.
Let me guess some more.
Okay. Go through all 20, however many of them there are.
Well, I'm just thinking of the first 10 because that's the Bill of Rights. So I really only have to think about that.
You're in the right ballpark with the Miranda rights.
Speedy trial?
Yes. Yep. Right to a speedy and public trial, right to an impartial jury, right to notice of the accusation, right to confront witnesses, right to compulsory process, and right to counsel.
You said right to know
I said that
of a-
6 times.
I'm about to just clarify. What was the one where you said right to know about?
To notice of the accusation. So to know what you're being accused of.
Interesting, because how many people get arrested all the time and they don't know until way later why they're even arrested in the first place?
I'm not saying it's perfect.
No, it's just obviously I knew speedy trial. I didn't know all the nuances
Yeah.
until just now.
Yeah.
But I wonder if it's just when you're officially charged that this counts.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Honestly, I have no idea.
Yeah.
So it also regulates the vicinity from which a jury pool may be selected.
Okay. That makes sense.
So it says that the accused of a crime shall be entitled to a, quote, impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascertained by law. So meaning
I was going to say
that this clause limits the vicinity of criminal jury selection to both the state and the federal judicial district where the crime had been committed.
Well, that makes sense. When you go to trial, the jury is selected from that area.
But so with the zone of death, with no residents, that means that no jury can be selected.
Oh.
Because of this...
But wait a minute. Isn't there the thing you can do where you can go to a different county?
We have loopholes.
Okay.
So because of this, the federal government has exclusive jurisdiction over the park, meaning that crimes committed in the park cannot be prosecuted under any of the state's laws.
That makes sense.
And because the person wouldn't be guaranteed the right to a jury trial, as no one lives in the area, a defendant facing any felony or misdemeanor charge may be unable to receive that constitutional trial, and therefore could not legally be punished regardless of their guilt or innocence.
Whoa.
All of this being said before our current administration came in and doesn't give a fuck about due process.
Absolutely.
But that's besides the point.
Oh my God, guys, Lauren said the F word.
I said it earlier, too.
You hardly ever say the F word.
I know.
So,
But
like,
I
when you do, it's like,
just don't like this administration.
it sticks out to me.
You're like, whoa.
Me, you tune it out because it's just so natural in the.
It's just like an or a what.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But for you, I'm like, oh, Lauren, mad.
In 2005, Professor Brian C. Kalt of Michigan State University
C.
College of
Kalt?
Law, C. Kalt, K-A-L-T.
Oh, I thought his last name was Colt.
No.
That's funny.
He made an argument saying that the perfect crime could be committed here. His argument was that the vicinage clause required jury selection from the state and district of where the crime occurred, but here a less perfect crime could be committed. So the entire park has been placed within the jurisdiction of the Court of the District of Wyoming, but that the Idaho state portion of the park had no residents, again, meaning they would be unable to form a jury of those who lived in the area. So an impartial jury in the location where the crime was committed, not possible.
Wouldn't that be true for any national park, though?
No, because those ones are parts of the state.
Yeah.
I don't know.
This is part of Yellowstone National Park, right?
Yeah.
And no one can live in a park.
I guess maybe the vicinity because of how big it is.
Like
maybe
whatever county it's closest to.
maybe something like that. I don't know. It didn't really go into that.
It's confusing.
So our Mr. C. Kalt guy wrote a paper called The Perfect Crime, talking about this zone of death and urged lawmakers in Wyoming to do something to close this loophole, but they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
He was worried that criminals may read his essay and commit a crime in the zone before the loophole was fixed.
Okay, well, wait a minute here, buddy.
I know. I was like, yes, I'm just going to read your essay. I did read the essay, but
yeah,
you know what I mean.
I was like, you're contributing a little bit to the problem.
But, okay, so there are, of course, a few ways that the government can work around this loophole and partially close it, like finding other crimes that happened before the main one to charge the perpetrator for instead.
That doesn't seem like it's going to work out.
Moving the location to find a suitable jury.
Yeah, so like when something's too well known and they get people from... Yeah.
Charging for a crime that would require a sentence of less than 6 months, as no jury is needed at this point. So there are little loophole closers like that.
Yeah, but that's not that satisfactory of a loophole closing.
It's not. But in December of 2005, Michael Belderain, a poacher, illegally shot an elk in the Montana section of Yellowstone, so another part of this zone of death kind of thing.
Okay.
He went to trial in 2007. He cited Kalt's paper, The Perfect Crime, to explain why he believed that it was illegal to have his trial with a jury from a state other than where the crime was committed. His argument was dismissed by the court. He did end up taking a plea deal, which waived his right to a jury trial and prohibited him from appealing the zone of death issue to the 10th Circuit, which for the time being rendered the issue moot.
Well, that doesn't seem right.
So, yeah, he pretty much got off.
He did or did not?
I mean, he took like a plea deal, which waived his right to a jury trial.
It sounds like they completely dismissed it.
Yeah.
Which is exactly the opposite of what they should be doing, right? Because it's a violation of his rights, technically.
See, that's where it's weird. It's like they were like, here, just so we don't have to get into all of the technicalities, we'll give you a plea deal. You take this,
Yeah.
We're good to go.
Okay.
So there was another death zone from back in 1989 when the Nevada legislature dissolved Bullfrog County. So Bullfrog County was an uninhabited county, which was actually the only uninhabited county in the history of the United States that was created in 1987.
So they made a county with no people in it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it was created for the sole purpose of shifting federal transfer payments related to the creation of the Yucca Mountain Nuclear Waste Facility directly to the Nevada State Treasury.
That sounds
kind of illegal.
That sounds weird.
Yeah.
That sounds like you're cheating.
Right. It does.
I don't know how, but it definitely sounds like you're cheating.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't sound like that should be allowed.
Right.
So in 2016, Julian Pinder and Adam Levins directed Population Zero. The movie tells of a fictional triple murder in the zone of death where the murderer is able to walk free. The novel Free Fire shows how the zone of death could potentially pose a serious threat to the American justice system.
Question.
Yes.
This is not necessarily called the zone of death because a bunch of people die.
No, there have been no murders in the zone of death.
Cool.
Because I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be a great thing. I can write about all the murders that happened.
Sure.
No, not a single one.
Okay.
Nope. The biggest thing was the elk.
But you would have to commit the crime in that area. It couldn't just be a dumping ground.
Correct.
Because technically, if they found where you did the crime, then
Yes, you'd have to do it in the zone of death.
That's crazy.
Yes.
And it's hard to get to.
It's very hard to get to. There are no trails. It's only like walking
It makes
paths.
sense that the only death so far is an animal.
Right, exactly, from a poacher. So an article I read about this was written in 2021, and it spoke about how it would be simple to just redraw the lines to include the zone of death somewhere else.
Yeah, they redraw shit all the time.
So that these issues wouldn't be a thing. But even the article said, quote, redistricting is currently a controversial topic due to gerrymandering, partisan redrawing of districts. LOL.
Well, you're right. Right now it's being used because Republicans want to stay in power, and they know that they won't unless they cheat.
Yeah, and I love a controversial topic.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And this was written in 2021.
That was only 4 years ago, huh?
I know, but it was before this whole let's redistrict everything happened.
No, they were doing it beforehand. That's why, I don't know, it's the recent Voting Rights Act
Yeah.
that is supposed to prevent that because it obviously discriminates more towards marginalized communities in that redistricting.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
But it's probably more rampant now than it's ever been.
Yeah. Yep. Because, I mean, it's never really like made the news as it has now.
Right.
He was really upset with how many people were happy that he almost died.
Good. Good.
I'm like, don't live your life so that people are happy when you die.
Yeah. Well,
live your life so people are sad. Like Betty White.
Devastation.
Oh my God. So sad when she died.
Robin Williams.
Yes. Ozzy Osbourne.
And even he probably made some questionable choices.
He definitely did. And we were still sad when he was gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So clearly there wasn't much to talk about in the zone of death.
That's it?
Yep.
Okay.
And because it is so rugged and such a small section of Yellowstone, not many people venture there. But because I was in the zone
oh my God.
for national parks, I decided to do some shallow dives on a few disappearances that took place in national parks in Idaho.
Okie dokie.
So the first one I wanted to cover is the disappearance of Joe Elliott Blakesley and Amy Linkert. So Joe and Amy were best friends, which is why I decided to cover them.
Okay.
Because we are best friends.
Okay.
Dr. Jodine Joe K. Elliott Blankesley was 63 and worked at the Snake River Correctional Institution as a physician in Ontario, Oregon. Amelia Amy Linkert, 69, had worked at Lowell State Middle School in Meridian, Idaho, but has since retired. She also had a master's degree in education.
I was just thinking, I was like, working in a corrections facility and being a middle school teacher are pretty much the same thing.
But look at that. Best friends, and you work as a teacher. I'm just saying.
Well, yeah, I see that connection too. But my point is, someone who works in a correctional facility and someone who's a middle school teacher essentially do the same thing.
Yeah.
Or deal with the same kind of people.
So on September 13th, 2013, the two women left Boise, Idaho, headed for the Craters of the Moon National Monument and Preserve.
Is this going to be another one of those things where, like, she randomly disappears and her friends are, like, way behind? And
no, I thought we were going to get there, and I was like, Mackenzie's going to accuse the other friend. No. So the main feature of Craters of the Moon is the Great Rift, which is a 52-mile-long crack in the Earth's crust.
Oof.
The Great Rift is a preserved volcanic landscape with exposed fissures, lava fields, lava tubes, craters, and cinder cones.
Logically, I understand that, everything below the surface is lava anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But when we talk about, like, volcanoes and lavas, like, in the United States, my brain can't compute. I'm like, no, that's, like, Hawaii and Italy. Like, that we don't have those.
Yeah.
But we do.
Not like the huge one we have in Montana.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't, it doesn't make sense.
The landscape was formed by eruptions that started 15,000 years ago and represents the last period of volcanic activity in this area.
For now.
The monument and preserve were established on May 2nd, 1924. In November of 2000, a presidential proclamation by President Clinton expanded the monument area. So the area has 3 major lava fields and about 400 square miles of sagebrush steep grasslands, covering a total area of 1,117 square miles.
Isn't sagebrush what starts forest fires?
I think so.
Okay.
That sounds right.
Near lava.
It's cooled lava.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, because it looks like the moon. Craters of the moon.
Okay.
Get it.
There we
Get
are.
it.
That's cool.
So this area...
I'm just, like, picturing, like, lava flowing, like, through Idaho.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, I just can't see it.
Yeah.
Because it's actually not happening.
Nope, not at all. So this area offers many different hiking opportunities as well as camping, cross-country skiing, wildlife viewing, and backcountry travel. But it is also known to have dangerous jagged rocks and unpredictable harsh weather.
Mm.
So back to Joe and Amy, the two women headed out to Craters of the Moon where they planned to spend a week. But when they...
Week?
I know.
I love
You and I would never.
Never.
You weren't even thrilled about like 3 days.
That was like 5. Well, it didn't end up being 5,
It ended up being 2.
which, thank God. I will go into the woods with you if we have a house with running water and
Electricity and appliances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will happily do that.
Oh, okay. We can do that for a week.
Yeah.
But when their expected return date of Friday, September 20th, 2020 rolled around, or 2013 rolled around, Joe and Amy hadn't returned. They were both reported missing a few days later on Tuesday, September 24th. Joe had failed to show up to work, so her coworkers called the police. But because the government always needs to be shut down due to a lack of funding, that meant that the searches started a week later on October 1st.
Ooh.
Thankfully, there are still good people out there because 10 Park Service rangers started the search once the missing persons report came out. But unfortunately, they didn't have access to search helicopters, dogs, or planes.
Yeah.
Though the National Park Service wrote that the search was started on the day the women were reported missing, September 24th, by the Butte County Sheriff's Office in conjunction with the National Park Service, so I can't say for sure when the search actually started.
Okay.
So I found out, like, the funding on one website, and then, of course, on the National Park Service's website, they started the search the moment that it was reported missing. Because they had a whole article of this on their website. I know, very interesting. As authorities were looking into their disappearances, they found that Joe and Amy had been spotted at a campground in Arco on September 19th, which is about 18 miles from Craters.
And when were they supposed to be back?
The 20th.
Okay.
The 20th. Police found receipts from the Craters of the Moon Visitor Center indicating that Joe and Amy were at the monument on Tuesday, September 24th, which is 4 days after their supposed return date.
Oh, yeah.
Their vehicle was also found at the Tree Molds Trail parking lot, which is a popular trailhead in the monument. But what the police found inside the car was even more shocking. They found the women's cell phones, other items, and their dogs. I assume the dogs are fine. Dogs
See,
are
that's
okay.
when you know.
Yes.
There's something afoot.
Yes.
Because
no one
would leave their doggy.
This finding was shocking as the women would have never left their dogs in the car for so long.
Question. Wallets in there too? Or no?
It just said cell phones and other items. It didn't specify what those other items were.
Because when you said that there was like a receipt for a charge for that one place, but it was like after the day that they were supposed to get back, it made me think like, did someone take their wallets and it was them who spent the money? It was actually somebody else using their stuff.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if it was like they signed something. I don't know.
Yeah. But they were pretty sure it was them.
That's what they're, yeah.
Okay.
So this finding was shocking as the women, like I said, would never leave their cars for so long. So it led the police, dogs in the car for so long, which led police to believe that they didn't plan to be gone for long.
Yeah.
To further this, their family said that Joe and Amy wouldn't have gone off of trail in the first place, and especially wouldn't have gone out of sight of their truck knowing their dogs were inside.
Yeah, I can't imagine what they possibly would have been doing unless they're like peeing or something.
Right, something like that.
Or like, maybe someone was having trouble and before they drove out, it was like right, in the parking lot, so they're trying to help them. And that's what it was.
Maybe. So Tammy Kirklow, Amy's niece, said, quote, "They were both missionaries. They're both avid hikers, survivalists. This is very strange. To have their phones, I mean, I know they probably wouldn't work in the caves, but to leave them in the truck, that's strange to us." The search covered a 5-mile square. Nope. The search covered a 5-square-mile area of the south end of the monument near the tree mold broken top loop and wilderness trails. The search area was rugged with dangerous territory and it was prone to unpredictable weather. There were over 6,000 search volunteer hours put in, as well as the use of ground crews, dog teams, and aircraft once government funding came back.
Yeah.
Joe and Amy were not found. So the search and rescue teams expanded their search area to now include a lava field northwest of the Tree Molds Trail. On September 25th, 2013, Amy Linkert's body was found.
Oh, no.
Her body was found face up on the lava. Again,
not real lava.
Not real lava.
Cool lava.
Yes. She was wearing only a short sleeve shirt and pants. She didn't have on her jacket or her backpack and had no food or water. Authorities did not suspect foul play in her death and believed that she had become disoriented while possibly searching for help and had died of exposure.
So there was no external injuries?
She was originally believed to have been Joe at first, but dental records were needed to confirm that the body was, in fact, Amy's.
Okay.
Searchers continued to search for a whole extra month, and that is when Joe's body was found in October 2013, just a mile from Amy's.
Oh, wow.
Her body was also 2.5 miles from their pickup, which was parked at the trailhead.
So they weren't far.
Like 2.5 miles. But her body was found in an area that had been searched multiple times and had search helicopters fly over it. So turns out, though, that her body had been obstructed by rocks.
Oh.
But apparently cadaver dogs had been in the area as well, and she had still not been found, which is kind of odd. It appears,
What made them move the rocks this time?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It appears that she had also died of exposure. Both women had also showed signs of dehydration. It is unclear how the two got separated in the first place, but one theory is that one woman was injured and the other went off to search for help.
Wait, okay, but wouldn't they say so and so had an injury? You would be able to tell.
Yeah, you would think. Yeah. But an odd point is that Amy had been to Craters of the Moon before, so she at least knew the area a bit.
Yeah.
So the fact that, like, this whole thing happened is just odd. There are a few posts online with people talking about how this is a mystery and there are mysterious circumstances surrounding the case. But Dan Paulson commented on the post from Strange Outdoors. He said, quote, I spent 2.5 weeks on the search. It was during a GOV shutdown, government shutdown, and I had time. I was out there during one storm and I could tell you exactly what happened. This is what we pieced together. Amy and Joe headed out on a warm, sunny fall afternoon from nearby Arco, Idaho, where they had camped. They hiked the Tree Wells Trail. They left the dogs in the car because they did not intend to be gone long and didn't want to shred the dogs' feet on the sharp lava.
Bullshit.
They walked a ways and
Why would they have brought the dogs in the first place then?
I don't know.
Wrong.
They walked a ways and a storm came in. There were no trails once you go past the big cinder cone, only about a mile or less away from where they parked. Then you're out in the lava field. A storm moved in and they lost visibility. The terrain is aggressive, though, and steers you where you can't see where to go. You cannot walk a straight line out there. With no visibility, they can only hear sporadic traffic far away, and so then they tried to head towards it. They were in short sleeves and were not prepared for the storm. In the clouds and snow, they would be wet with visibility, perhaps down to top 50 feet at times. This is what we experienced, but we had gear, radios, and GPS.
Seems to be a long-winded explanation for not being there.
They went as far as they could. Autopsy records showed they both had cuts and scrapes on their hands, knees, and shins from falling on the sharp lava many times as they went further than searchers thought they might go. But the thing is, they weren't making choices out there based on comfort. They were freezing and in bad trouble. They knew they were in bad trouble. They both had made it as far as they could. Amy, who had bad knees, falls first. Joe continues further, but only makes it about 1/2 of a mile from the road before she succumbed to hypothermia. Cause of death for both ladies was exposure. It was a tragedy, not a mystery. Rip Joe and Amy.
No.
You don't believe it?
And not for a second. Why would two women, best friends, go for a week to camp in this place, but now all of a sudden they were unprepared? That doesn't make any sense.
That's a very good point. Because also they were survivalists, avid hikers. They've
Right.
done this before.
And maybe leaving your cell phones in the car while you go on the hike, I could see. You wouldn't leave your dogs.
No, you wouldn't. Because you
Being
wouldn't
gone-
bring your dogs to a place that you know your dogs can't go in.
Correct. That too. Plus, I'm sure it sounds like it was cooler outside, like this time of year. But people like that who are going to bring their dogs to something like this, like they would know, even if they were allowed to bring their dog, if the whole like cutting up their feet shit was true, they wouldn't have brought their dog.
Right, exactly.
And I know that like no one leaves their dog in the car when you purposefully bring them somewhere.
Right.
Like that doesn't make any sense.
Right.
It doesn't make sense why they would wander off like that.
Right.
And if they're survivalists, they probably would have known we need to stay put till the storm passes.
And why they would
just
go 2 miles away knowing where their dogs are. I would
Right.
never go 2 miles away with Roy in the car.
No. That doesn't make any, like, it's one thing if like, okay, the dogs are in the car, we're all packed up, let's, run inside here and go to the bathroom real quick.
Right.
That makes sense.
Makes sense.
Going on a hike because you wouldn't be gone for long?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
So
I think they were coerced away.
that's all we have on that.
No.
So the next one is that of Connie Johnson from Big Fog Mountain.
Okay.
You're not going to be happy with any of these. Big Fog Mountain is near Big
Well,
Rock.
that explanation really just pissed me off because that's just so unrealistic.
I know. It's
It's so
suspicious.
dumb.
There's something suspicious.
Yeah. And it's weird that he was like, this is what happened.
Case closed.
Case closed.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Like, who are you?
Who are you?
Like, stop.
Did you lead them away? Oh my gosh, I really need your help. I lost this. I lost that. Kind older ladies.
What, and then came back and helped with the search? It happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a Criminal Minds episode where the guy
I'm sure there is.
volunteers for the search party and he volunteers to be the cook and he cooks the girl and then feeds it to. I can't wait for mom to watch that episode.
So Big Fog Mountain is near Big Rock in Grangeville, Idaho. Big Fog Mountain is southernmost of the greater than 7,000-foot mountains in the Selway Craigs.
What?
It's a 7,000-foot mountain.
Okay.
Yeah. It is a small local range of the Selway Bitterroots,
I don't know what you're saying right now.
the area it's in. Yeah. And it has a summit of 7,122 feet.
Okay.
Connie Marie Johnson, 76, was working as a camp cook.
Older lady.
I know.
Good for you.
I know. So she was working as a camp cook for Ritchie Outfitters around Big Fog Mountain in early October of 2018. This particular area is very remote as well.
Mhm.
It has no roads and is only accessible by horse or by foot.
Interesting.
I know. Connie had previously worked as a U.S. Forest Service wilderness ranger at Moose Creek Ranger Stations, so she was very, very experienced in the outdoors.
Yeah.
She was a member of the Selway Bitterroot Foundation and frequently led young people and other groups on tours of the backcountry in the area, but she was very experienced in the backcountry and knew how to survive, even in survival environments.
So no one better come in here and be like, the elements got her.
She was seen on October 2nd, 2018, but by some hunters as they left the camp, and when they came back on October 5th, Connie and her dog Ace were gone.
So she was seen at the camp, not like hiking around or anything.
Yep, she was seen at the camp because she was a cook.
Right. Okay.
So she was seen at the camp October 2nd.
Okay.
The hunters go out, do their thing, come back October 5th, and she's gone.
Okay.
And her dog's gone.
Right.
County Sheriff Doug Giddens said that on October 3rd, the hunters had contacted Connie by radio, but the transmission was weak, so they weren't really able to hear what she was saying.
Mm.
When the hunters came back and noticed that Connie was gone, they called to report it, and immediately a search was deployed with searchers on foot and with canines.
So this was the next day?
2 days later.
2 days later. Okay.
So they see her on the 2nd, they leave.
Mhm.
They contact her on the 3rd by radio, but the
They
transmission's
can't
really
understand
weak.
what she's saying.
Correct.
Okay.
They're gone the 4th, they come back the 5th.
Okay.
Yep, search starts the 5th.
Got it.
There were also aircrafts deployed who had heat-seeking technology from the U.S. Air Force. The Idaho National Guard came out, and the Clearwater County Backcountry Helicopter Rescue Team also helped.
Say that 5 times fast.
The search went on for 11 days, but was sadly called off on October 16th, 2018, when no trace of Connie was found.
That seems like a short amount of time.
I guess it's...
At least comparatively
you know,
to the last people you talked about.
Right. Then 3 weeks later, Ace, Connie's dog, turned up alone at the Moose Creek Ranger Station, a station that was 15 miles from the camp where Connie was last seen. Ace was examined and fed. He was then taken out to search for his owner, but that too was unsuccessful. To this day, no one knows what happened to Connie Johnson. Her daughter does not believe that her disappearance was intentional. She said, quote, "I think she was just enjoying the outdoors, which she loves, and something happened. The weather came up, she fell. I don't know, but I think that she got surprised. Given the temperature, the lack of time, the lack of signs of her, and the fact that Ace is not with her all point to," then she trails off.
Given her age.
Yeah. But I mean, she was still giving tours of the backcountry. She was still doing all of that.
But I could kind of see, like, maybe, especially because she's by herself, like, she falls and hurts herself. And, like, when you get to that age, your bones are fragile.
Yeah, you don't heal nearly as quickly.
Right. And so, she, depending on what she broke, she might not have been able to move.
Right. Like a hip.
Yeah.
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 Then, by a weird coincidence, another person, Terrence Woods, also went missing on the same day as Connie, October 5th. He was a 27-year-old production assistant from Maryland. Terrence had grown up in Capitol Heights, Maryland, and graduated from the University of Maryland. He lived in London for a few years, where he attended the American International University. Then in 2018, he moved back to the U.S. He was a very experienced journalist and traveled the world working on different documentaries and television shows. So he was used to working in tough situations while filming, to include rugged locations in Alaska and Turkey. So he had experience in the backcountry and even this section of Idaho, but not the specific location where they were filming.
Okay, but it's still, even if it's not that specific location, it's still similar terrain.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
He and his crew were filming a documentary on Penman Mine of for Whitewater, a British TV show on Raw TV.
This Penman Mine?
It's a mine.
Oh, mime.
Mine.
Mine.
You're like, oh yes, a mine makes so much sense in the woods.
I don't know.
So this is the same production company for the popular Discovery Channel show Gold Rush.
Oh.
So they were in the Oro Grande area of the Nez Perce Clearwater National Forest.
You're saying so many things that just don't sound like real words.
Well, to you, they don't make sense. The people who live in Idaho are probably like, yes. Or I'm pronouncing it wrong, so that's why it sounds like gibberish. Oro Grande is located near Elk City and is surrounded by forested terrain and is a historical gold mining district known for the mine and other gold, silver, and copper deposits. So on October 5th, Terrence texted his dad telling him that he would be home in 5 days. which would actually be cutting the trip short by 5 days, something that Terrence had no, which would actually be cutting the trip short, something that Terrence had never done. He was
Mhm.
actually supposed to be on this trip until mid-November.
But it's for work.
Yeah,
It's not like pleasure.
correct. So he's there for work. It's
And with other people?
yeah.
Okay.
So he's with his whole crew.
Yeah.
It's October 5th. He tells his dad, "Hey, I'm going to be home in 5 days." He should
Hmm.
actually be here until mid-November, so a month out.
Yeah.
So I put 5 days. It should be so short by 5 weeks.
Weeks.
So that same day in the late afternoon, early evening, while Woods is in the woods
Oh, Jesus.
with his crew, he ran off for some reason and has never been found.
What?
Simon, the on-site production manager, recalled what happened to Terrence's dad, Terrence Sr. He said, quote, "So we were finishing up for the day and your son was talking to one of the miners. I was in one of the vehicles doing some work when your son told the miner that he had to go relieve himself. Something told me, kind of like a gut feeling, to go look over the cliff near where your son was at. When it's always so hard reading when other people talk.
Yeah.
Something told me, kind of like a gut feeling, to look over near the cliff your son was at. When I looked over there, all I saw was the radio lying on the ground. I originally thought your son fell off the cliff, so I leaped out of the vehicle and ran over there immediately. To my shock, your son was already 15 feet down the cliff running like a hare. I'd never seen anyone run that fast. At that point, I yelled to the crew to get in a vehicle and go to the main road. I proceeded down the cliff after your son, but he kept running. Due to my professional SAR training, I stopped running after him out of fear he'd be further scared. So I went back topside, and the crew hadn't found your son on the main road. At this point, we found the first house with a phone and reported your son missing."
Something stinks like bullshit.
His father said, quote, "They, production crew, thought he fell off of a cliff, but by the time he got there, my son was 15 feet down the cliff running like a hare. So I said, 'What do you mean running like a hare?' He said, 'He ran so fast, I ain't never seen nobody run that fast. You can't get lost out there because if you get lost out there, you're going to run into a road or houses.' So he didn't just poof, vanish, and disappear. No, he made it to that road. Someone picked him up."
What?
So as the crew was wrapping up for the day, Terrence just jumped off of a cliff and sprinted into the forest, absolutely stunning his crew. Before anyone was able to respond or do anything, he just disappeared into the thick brush. So they called authorities at 5:30. An extensive
And
search.
other people said, yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah, like the whole crew.
Mm.
An extensive search was conducted, including multiple counties and law enforcement agencies. Search crews on ATVs circled the area, multiple dog teams searched, and a helicopter with heat sensing technology was in the air, while other crews were on horseback. After over a week-long search, no signs of Terrence were ever found, except his backpack, which he had left at the site. Inside were a couple of camera bags, batteries, Sharpie pens, over-the-counter painkillers, cough drops, hand cream, an iPhone charger, a 3-inch folding tactical knife, and a stun gun.
So he had nothing.
He had nothing on him. Absolutely nothing. I think he might have had his phone,
Were they able to?
but they don't say anything about that.
Hmm.
Terrence is not known to have a history of panic attacks or psychiatric issues such as depression, his dad said. But his friend said that he didn't really want to go on the trip in the first place, but they did think the behavior he displayed at the shoot didn't match what he was like in normal life. And in the 911 call, his coworker said that Terrence had been having a really hard time emotionally and had a mental breakdown earlier that day. Law enforcement concluded that evidence showed that Terrence had intended to disappear.
Evidence as in the story you've been told.
I think they looked at someone's phone or someone's computer,
Mm-hmm.
but the person's name who they said, like the computer that they looked at, it wasn't him.
Mm-hmm.
And the name that they used was the production manager, like his name. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, why would they look at the production manager's computer to tell that Terrence had left it voluntarily?
Right. Like, what would have been on there?
I don't know. Couldn't find that. So in an interview,
He just runs down a cliff.
that's what's weird. So in an interview, the local sheriff said that the guys working the SAR operation would tell you that Terrence was not in the area and that the area had been searched. They determined that he had slid down the bank and made it to the road, but from there, they don't know where he had gone. They said that if he was hurt or injured, they would have found him, and if he were dead, the dogs would have found him. So they're saying he's not in this area anymore. Because not even a body was found, nothing. Police believe he had a panic attack or mental breakdown, but his family suspects foul play. There are other theories that involve suicide, drugs, fear of a member of his crew, exposure, animal attacks, murder, but all of these have been able to be debunked. But there is an interesting one from Strange Outdoors that I wanted to read.
From the same asshat from before?
Same website, the guy
Different
from
guy.
before had commented on it. So he wasn't part of Strange Outdoors, he just
Okay.
commented on the article.
Yeah.
So Strange Outdoors said that another potential theory is the panic in the woods.
Mm.
So, according to the blog The Paranormal Guide, panic in the woods has been associated with the pagan god Pan, protector of wild places, whose unseen presence inspires causeless terror. Victims experience an overwhelming feeling of paranoia, such as a sinister force nearby, and sense imminent danger. This usually leads the person to flee the area, desperately seeking out civilization. One curiously common characteristic of panic is that people often describe that the woodlands will go completely silent, deafening the witness before the high pitched sound sets in a few minutes later. Deafening silence and paranoia in the woods are related to the real life cryptid Goatman and another group of paranormal monsters known as skinwalkers. At least one article of the phenomenon has been written for 14 Times magazine by Patrick Herber titled Landscapes of Panic. The behavior is a common post on many paranormal forums and message boards. I thought
Mhm.
that was very interesting because we have heard stories of people in the woods where they're like, everything just went silent and then, like,
Yeah.
they've lost time or they've lost areas, and a lot happens in the woods with, like, you have your whole missing 411 thing.
Mhm.
So yeah, still no one knows what happened to Terrence. Apparently, his dad started to, like, kind of get a little on the idea that race had played into it because he's black.
Oh.
But I think it got, like, very, very aggressive that the cops stopped talking to the dad.
Oh.
Mhm.
Because he was right or because he was not letting it go?
I think not letting it go.
Mm.
Because they said multiple times, like, it had nothing to do with race,
Mhm.
but the dad, like, kept pushing and kept, like, getting very
He
aggressive
probably
about
needs to
it.
try to find some reason, and the
Yeah,
reason he was given is not satisfying enough for him.
right.
Which I get because it
I
also
get it.
like, there's parts of it that make sense, and there's parts of it that don't.
Yeah.
Like, I still don't understand why he would just run off.
No, no one understands why he would just run
Like,
off.
even if he's not in the best headspace, like, that is a crazy escalation of behavior.
Right.
Number 2, the way that the guy described, like, how he was running
Mhm.
and all that, like, didn't
And also, we have to think he scaled a 15-foot cliff.
right.
Right.
And how short of a time?
Enough time that someone has to go pee and then you have a weird feeling, so you go check on them. So, minimum 5 minutes
But
or
it
maximum
also
5 minutes.
doesn't sound like he was because okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounded like the guy who told the story said he was in his car and he turned his head and didn't see him.
Yeah, I don't know because he said he was, like, in the car and then he got the gut feeling, so he went to look and he saw the radio laying down.
Oh,
So then he
okay.
went back to his car to, like, assemble the troops to go look,
Okay,
kind of thing.
I thought he was in his car and looked over because I was like, well, then he'd be in the eyesight.
Yeah, no, he got a gut feeling and he, like, went
Went
over and
over.
looked. Yeah, and then when he looked over the cliff, that's when he saw him running into the woods.
To get down a cliff that fast,
Right,
it, that's what doesn't make sense. Like the way that this guy was running and like running away from people and like
right.
all that, like that's weird. That doesn't make any sense.
Mhm.
So I
And, like, I think somewhere said too, like, he's worked with this crew before,
mhm.
which is why they ruled out, like, oh, he was afraid of a crew member or, like, things like that because they've worked together before and they've been in rugged locations like this before.
How often?
I don't know, didn't say.
Because if it's not like a usual crew, like people he's with constantly, but it's like maybe one he's had experience here and there, and like because you said one of his friends, he was saying he didn't want to go.
Right.
So maybe like this crew that he works with, like yeah, it's gone fine, but like not, it hasn't been the best experience because of whatever.
Yeah, no idea.
But then at the same time, I'm like, I don't know how many people were on the crew, but to get all of those people to say the same thing, that's
Mhm.
gonna be crazy deep loyalty or
Yeah,
money.
yeah,
So, that
yeah,
also like, that part of it, I'm like, "Well, that makes it sound more true."
yeah.
I don't know, it's just the way that the guy ran away just doesn't make sense.
It's very, like, eerie.
And why would he tell his dad he's coming home?
Yeah, I don't know. That's the part too that his dad doesn't understand. Like, why are you saying you're gonna come home and then you run off into the woods?
Right. Like, if he ran away because he was afraid, and then he got in a car and he went home, okay,
Right.
but he didn't.
Yeah.
That's weird.
And then just 2 days later, on October 7th at approximately 5:30 p.m., the Idaho County Sheriff's Office was advised of yet another missing person.
What?
This would be 42-year-old Jose Mendez Morales of Tacoma, Washington.
Okay, wait. We had what's her name? The cook.
Mhm.
Now
Same
Terrence.
day, Terrence. 2 days later, Jose.
Jesus.
So he was going to Elk City, Idaho. On September 25th, he checked in with his family in Grangeville, but no one had heard from him since. He was known to check in with his family every 3 days or so him
Mhm.
not checking in.
Red flag.
But thankfully, after his family reported him missing, he was found just a few days later safe.
You tease.
Anyone with information on the missing persons or knows their whereabouts is asked to contact the Idaho County Sheriff's Office at 208-983-1100, and we will add that to our show notes.
Disappearances are always so sketchy.
I know, because there's always like such weird things.
I feel like it's not that hard to make a body disappear in the woods.
Oh my God, no. Most of these woods too, the ones that are like super, super rugged, it's a thing where I could look 5 feet ahead of me and I'm not going to see the ground.
Right.
Like I can't remember exactly where, I think it might have been part of Terrence's area, either him or Connie, but people were saying that like you could start walking and at some point you will not be touching the ground anymore because there's so much brush.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially if they're off trails.
Yes.
You know, and things aren't cleared out.
And
or
if you're in
whatever.
rugged areas like in Connie's situation, you're in a rugged area where you can only get there by horse and on foot.
Right.
There's
only
no
so many places
roads.
you can go.
Right.
And if somehow they've managed to get there, but
Right.
you can't get there.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, zone of death and disappearances in Idaho national parks.
Well,
Stay out of national parks. No, I'm just kidding. Go to them, but stay on the trail.
yeah.
Yeah.
Always stay on the trail.
Always stay on the trail.
Yeah. Everyone should just start wearing air tags anytime they go out hiking and camping.
Yeah. That'd be very smart. To like ping when you get lost.
Exactly. I don't know how long those things last for, but like I don't know if you have to charge them.
Yeah, they're probably a thing you'd want to charge like often.
Do you have to charge it?
I don't know. I've never owned an AirTag.
Yeah, why?
So we're not the right people to be saying this.
Nope.
I just know I have an iWatch, like an Apple Watch, and I have to charge it like every night.
Same.
Yeah, so I would assume anything else made by Apple needs to be charged often.
Unless it's just like a it's not like a power thing. It's just like a I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to say
Yeah.
because I don't know technology.
Yeah, I don't either.
I know how to use it. I don't know how it works.
Right. Yeah. But yeah. So
Wow.
So yeah, some scary
Wild.
stuff in Idaho.
Wild in the wild.
Wild in the wild.
Yeah.
All right, Mackenzie, what do you have for us tonight, today, whenever people are listening?
Hold on.
Oh my God.
Clever. What, catchphrase?
For someone named Mackenzie.
Catchphrase that rhymes with Mackenzie or Kenzie? Probably Kenzie. It's hard to rhyme something for 3 syllables. With Kenzie and her telling a story. What about some
Oh, time for a Kenzie classic. Let's hear it.
asking her to tell a story? These are like the ones it gave me are more like titles. When Kenzie speaks, mysteries peaks.
Oh.
Kenzie's tales where mystery never fails. Be breezy with a story from Kenzie. Kenzie? I'd say it that way. Okay.
Yeah, they're not rhyming anything with Kenzie.
Hey, Kenzie, give us a story frenzy.
Kenzie, dear, we're all ears.
Kenzie, we're ready. Make it spooky and steady.
Oh.
Tell us a tale, Kenzie, one that chills without fail.
No more hints, no more glory. Kenzie, give us the whole dang story.
Kenzie.
Oh, you'll love this one. Okay.
Okay.
Stop the tease, if you please. Kenzie, your story's the bee's knees.
I do like that one. Story time, Kenzie, keep it eerie and frenzy. Kenzie, drop a tale, we're ready to set sail.
Which one do you like? Maybe we'll still workshop this one.
Kenzie, spin us a yarn near, far, creepier, but that's too long. I don't mind, Kenzie, we're ready, make it spooky and steady, but it's very different than what I say.
Yeah, we'll workshop it.
Yeah,
We'll workshop it.
But we started, because we always say we're going to do it after, so I figured we should just do it right now.
Yeah, yeah. And then when you edit this, you can be like, Lauren, come up with something.
Yes, exactly. So I know we have all heard of Mothman
Yes.
and Dogman,
Love Mothman.
but today I bring you the legend of Moss Man.
Oh my God.
In Blaine County, Idaho, in the Sawtooth National Forest, there is an area comprised of 3 wide, shallow pools or hot springs. Frenchman's Hot Springs is about 11 miles from Ketchum, Idaho, where visitors can hike or drive to take a dip in the hot springs. The pools are rock-walled with sand and gravel-covered bottoms. The average temperature of the springs varies throughout the year, but most of the time the water is about 124 degrees Fahrenheit
Ooh.
or 51 degrees Celsius.
That sounds lovely.
It does. The best time to visit the area is from June to October. The springs are often inaccessible during the winter and spring seasons due to ice, snow, and spring runoff causing avalanches and slick road conditions, which make the road impassable.
Oh.
that did not stop one local man from venturing into the area to become one with nature.
Oh, okay. This is very different than what I thought it would be. Because have you heard of, like, I think his name is Bushman? Or Plant Moss? I don't know. He goes to, like, places like the Dollar or the Vegas Strip. He's dressed as a plant man. I don't know. He's dressed as a
It
plant
scares the shit out of
and
people.
scares people.
Yeah, no, not this.
It's so funny.
Yeah, not this one.
But when you say Moss Man, I'm like, oh, yes, he dressed as Moss sometimes.
Not quite.
Oh my God, where I work, sorry, it's related to moss. There's this huge, like, decorative moss wall,
Yeah.
right, with, like, our logo in the middle or whatever. There was a sign that said, do not touch. People wanted to touch.
Of
So what
course.
they did is they made a little board that you could touch. So it's, like, separated. And
I love that.
so now you can walk by and you can touch it.
That's fantastic. Work with the people, not against them.
Yep. I was like, we are all adults in this building,
Yes.
yet we need a thing that we can all touch.
Yes, exactly. And it's also like, why can't I touch it? Is it going to feel that amazing?
Right. What's going to happen if I touch it? Why are you restricting me from touching this? But yeah, so now it's a little board that we can touch.
Love that.
Yeah.
In February of 1984, a local man, whom we only know by the alias of Slim Becker,
Okay.
was driven by a profound need to return to nature. I could have sworn I saw somewhere like his actual name. I could not find it again.
Huh.
But I'm pretty sure it was posted somewhere.
Mhm.
I don't know where. Slim hiked to Frenchman Springs and jumped right into the warm water, clothes and all. Ross Leventhal, a local man who was once the high priest for the Moss Man Commemoration and Pagan Fun Fest of Ketchum, Idaho,
Wow.
told Randy White for Outside Magazine, quote, "The details of the story are murky and sometimes conflicting, but it's generally agreed that Becker soaked several hours before he realized that he had gotten in with his clothes on. Who in their right mind would want to hike all the way back to Ketchum in soggy jeans?
I get it. Soggy jeans are the worst.
So Becker did what should have been the reasonable thing. He removed his clothes and hung them to dry.
Okay.
His instincts were right, but his timing was off. It was February, the coldest month of the year, so instead of drying, his clothes froze.
Oh, no.
It also should be noted that many believe that Slim was high on amphetamines when he went on this adventure.
There we go. That's how he was able to jump in without realizing his clothes were on.
For a while.
And how he didn't feel the cold going there. Yep. Mm-hmm.
According to the legend, Slim spent the next 28 days in the hot spring alone without food. By the time some cross-country skiers had found him and notified the sheriff, moss was growing all over the man.
So was he in the water for 28 days? Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
According to Leventhal, quote, because of his patience and dedication, Becker had undergone an amazing transformation. He had become part human, part plant. I think your fucking face. Just pure skepticism and absolute, this is bullshit.
And it's also, I have so many questions swirling around in my brain right now.
The squinty eyes.
Yeah, like,
what?
Well, like, okay, you can only survive 3 days without water. You can only survive a week or 2 without food, neither of which he has.
We'll get there.
Your skin would be waterlogged.
All true.
Go on.
A lot of people talk about being one with nature, but Moss Man actually did it. He reportedly saw strange visions. One afternoon, he is said to have watched a wolf with pure white fur stalk and kill a deer. Can you appreciate all the symbolism involved here? A 28-day moon cycle in the womb of Mother Earth. A man who has turned green, nature's color. A white wolf, a dead deer, a pair of frozen Levi's. It's all so symmetrical. That's why some of us have decided to have a yearly celebration honoring Moss Man. For a brief period of time following the rise of this local legend, some locals created the Moss Man Commemoration and Pagan Fun Fest of Ketchum, Idaho. That is all in there.
Yep.
It was a ceremony to celebrate the symbolism and visions of the Moss Man, and more importantly, to clean up the hot springs after the winter tourists.
Okay.
Good intentions.
Yeah. I like it.
People would gather around the springs and sing songs about Moss Man and clean up the area from the litter of previous visitors.
Do you have the songs they would sing?
So the article had, apparently it's like to the same tune as Here Comes the Beatles, but I don't know what that sounds like.
I don't either.
But I can tell you what the words are.
Please.
Okay, hold on, I got that.
Wait. Here Comes the Beatles?
Yeah, I think so.
Here comes my song.
Do-do-do-do.
I don't think it's a thing.
Let's see.
Here Comes the Beatles is definitely not a thing. Yeah, Here Comes the Beatles isn't a thing, but Here Comes the Sun by the Beatles is a thing.
Hold on.
Could it go to that tune?
I don't know. I'm still looking. Or when they are talking about singing.
Here comes the sun. Doo-doo-doo-doo.
Okay, so it says more people than I ever thought would endure such madness, all of them similarly dressed, were singing to the tune of, We Love You, Beatles. Not Here Come the Beatles.
It's so different.
I know, I'm sorry, I couldn't remember. And they chanted, we call him Moss Man. He was really keen. He stayed at Frenchman's Bend.
Okay, here, hold on.
Okay.
All right, you got the tone?
We call him Moss Man. He was really keen. He stayed at Frenchman's Bend till he turned green.
Okay, beautiful. I love it. It's exactly what I wanted.
Yes. Okay, now I don't know where I was. Oh, yeah. Okay. One person shared that the festival, quote, actually makes cleaning the place up a lot of fun. No one makes a cent off this, and everyone has a hell of a good time.
I actually really love that.
Right? Each year, there is a woman who is crowned the queen of the Moss Man commemoration, and a new high priest is named for the coming year.
Oh my God.
Sadly, it does not seem like this festival is still a thing, like continued through the years, because when I Googled it, I couldn't find anything else on it.
Such a bummer.
And this article that I took a lot of my information from was from 1997.
Ah.
So I don't know how long it lasted,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think it's around anymore.
Oh.
The question with every legend is it real?
Yeah.
Well, in this case, yes, it is. I know. You look at me. How come? I tell you.
Okay.
The Wood River Journal reported on March 15th, 1984, quote, a 20-year-old Haley man was found soaking in a hot mineral pool at Frenchman's Bend last Saturday after having apparently lived there for several weeks. Moss Man, name withheld to protect the innocent. It wasn't actually in the article, but the article I read that shared this excerpt did.
Okay.
Was discovered by two cross-country skiers, according to a Blaine County Sheriff's Department report. The skiers observed that some of Moss Man's skin was peeling and that moss was growing on his back.
Oh.
The semi-conscious victim was taken to Moritz Community College, according to the report.
Community college?
Hospital.
Oh, yeah, to the infirmary?
Yeah. Community hospital.
That would make way more sense.
Yes. His clothes lay frozen on the ground nearby. The Moritz physician estimated that the victim may have lost 60 pounds while living in the pool.
Oh my gosh.
Moss's sister-in-law said that the man stood 6'2" and weighed 210 pounds before leaving for Frenchman's Bend, and he took a lot of amphetamines. His brains are really scrambled, she said.
Oh my God.
Blaine County Sheriff Walt Fleming shared his experience of finding the Moss Man when he was just an officer on the force. He told Randy White, quote, I wasn't the sheriff at the time, but I was on the force and I remember the guy. It was winter and he'd been sleeping in the post office, so I had to kick him out. I felt bad about that. He seemed like a nice enough guy. Several weeks later, we got a report that a man was living in the water at Frenchman's Bend.
Oh gosh.
When we pulled him out, he looked like a boiled chicken wing.
Oh no.
He had moss growing on him. I remember him telling us that the reason he stayed in the spring was that his clothes got wet and he couldn't leave. Others shared their stories with Randy, saying that when Moss Man was taken to the hospital, he locked himself in the shower and refused to come out.
Oh my gosh.
And thank God for Randy's investigation skills, because he was able to track down the actual Moss Man. Apparently, he had moved to the Midwest not long after the incident and started a whole new life.
With no water. Sans water.
Huh?
Like without hot springs that he was going to be in.
That we know of.
Okay.
When Randy told him about the commemoration, he said, quote, they've named a celebration after me? I don't know how to take that. Maybe it's neat. One thing, though, I don't like the name. Moss Man? It's embarrassing.
Oh.
I'll talk about what happened as long as you don't use my real name. I got a job now. People might get the wrong idea about me if they found out I lived in water for a while.
Lived in water, took amphetamines.
Yeah.
Your clothes froze.
Yeah. Truth of the matter is, I didn't stay in the hot spring just because my pants froze. Sorry. This is the first time I'm reading this out loud.
What did you press?
I think I've been pressing some buttons.
I've only seen it now.
Okay.
I only saw it pop up on the screen, but it's not. The people are gonna get a lot of random sounds.
Well, hopefully it didn't cover up anything too funny.
I didn't see anything except this most recent one.
Because I heard it. Oops. Okay, well,
Mackenzie was leaning on our little soundboard. So if there are random sounds throughout this, that's why.
oops. But anyway, I was just saying that the first time reading this out loud is just sounds ridiculous.
Yes. You read it in your head, you're like, yeah, this is good. Then you read it out loud, you're like, oh my God.
I think what happened was my feet froze when I was walking barefoot in the snow, like frostbite. So I decided to stay in the spring until they felt better. I guess I was kind of stubborn, but I wanted to walk out of the place under my own power. You know, like a matter of pride. He added, it's also possible that the drugs had a little bit of influence.
I'd say so.
At first I was hungry, he said. Then I just got weak. The worst thing, though, was being so thirsty. The water in the hot pool wasn't good to drink, and I about froze every time I walked down to the river, so I stayed thirsty just about all the time.
Okay, so he would go down to the water just when he needed to. I gotcha. So I was like, how did you live?
Yeah, this is crazy. A couple of times people came by on a snowmobile or snowshoes and asked me if I was okay, and did I need help. But I refused because, like I said, I was stubborn. They didn't give me any food, but one of them gave me a beer. That was really refreshing. Probably the best beer I've ever had in my life.
It's like that story you gave with God the other time. Like,
Yes!
God saved me. All right, I sent you 3 boats.
Exactly. He goes on to share, quote, it was hard at first, staying there all by myself, but after a couple weeks, I started feeling really peaceful. There were some great snowstorms, and I just stretched out in the hot water and watched them.
I mean, I can see how relaxing that would be.
Yeah, but not for 28 days.
No.
Yeah.
Like for one day when you have like a hot tub at a cabin that you're renting
100%.
and you watch the snow and then you run inside and get warm.
Warm clothes.
Yeah.
It's nice to watch a snowstorm in moonlight.
Oh,
Everything's so quiet, and deer would come up and sniff around.
that is actually beautiful.
Yeah. When asked about the vision of the white wolf, he said, quote, I don't think it was a vision. I'm pretty sure I saw a big white dog drag down this deer. Like just a wolf hunting a deer.
They made it a whole like in the womb of Mother Earth.
Yes.
And then the wolf comes and he's like, no, I think it was just hunting.
Yeah.
Nothing significant.
Right. It happened right in front of me. At the time I was so hungry, I thought about climbing out and taking some of the meat.
No.
But I didn't. It was too cold.
What did he eat?
I don't think he really ate anything.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't think he really ate anything. He eventually accepted the help from the cross-country skiers because he knew if he didn't, he would most likely die.
Okay, we finally took the last boat.
Yeah. Shortly after this ordeal, Mossman left town, many say out of embarrassment.
Oh, Moss Man.
Small town.
Yeah.
So, in conclusion, I asked ChatGPT if it was scientifically possible for someone to become covered in moss after spending 28 days in a hot spring.
Oh, love it.
It was
Okay.
very specific.
Yes.
This is what it said.
Okay.
Not in any realistic biological sense. Here's why. Mosses are plants, not fungi or algae.
Oh, good point.
They reproduce with spores and need a stable substrate, so soil, rock, bark, plus steady moisture, light, and nutrients to grow, like most plants.
Yep.
Human skin is not a suitable substrate.
Ew.
It constantly sheds cells, produces oils, and is protected by an immune system.
Mm.
These factors make it inhospitable for moss to establish roots, rhizoids, and grow.
Okay.
Now, human skin in hot springs. Skin is a living, dynamic tissue that resists colonization. Shouldn't we all? Sweat, oils, and immune responses like shedding skin and producing antimicrobial peptides. Sorry. Prevent plants and most fungi from growing on it. Hot springs often contain algae, especially cyanobacteria, that can cling temporarily to skin or hair, creating a slimy or greenish film. But this is a surface growth, not the moss itself rooting into the skin.
Okay.
After soaking for 28 days straight, which itself would be dangerous due to dehydration, infection risk, and the tissue damage, a person could develop biofilms of algae, bacteria, or fungi on the skin, but not an actual moss carpet.
Okay.
A human cannot truly become covered in moss by soaking in a hot spring for 28 days. Moss needs soil, shade, and a stable surface, not living skin.
Do you think that maybe he had something else on him, like a fungi, and at the hospital it just looked like moss?
Yes.
Mm.
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay.
That's exactly what I think. However, algae and bacterial biofilms could coat the skin in a slimy green layer if someone were submerged for very long, which may be where the legend-like imagery comes from. The real danger would be infection and tissue damage, not sprouting moss. And that is the legend, but true story of the Moss Man of Idaho.
Wow. I actually loved this.
Crazy.
Yes.
Absolutely
Very
insane.
weird.
But
Very
so
weird.
awesome.
Yes. Very fun.
Yeah.
I hope he one day goes to the festival. Well,
This doesn't happen anymore.
if it still ever goes on.
Apparently, when he was talking to the reporter, the guy who wrote the article, he then said to him, well, if they're having a festival about me, shouldn't I get paid for it? You know, if they're going to use my name or whatever. And the guy writing the article was like, he's really just human after all.
As if we had any doubts before.
Right. Exactly. So.
Oh, well, that was fun.
Right?
Yes. Very fun.
Weird. Maybe not so spooky, but weird.
Very weird. Very fun.
Yeah.
It could be spooky. Some people might be afraid of plants growing on them.
And it's a legend, you know.
It's a legend, exactly.
And not all the things that would, those wood devil thingies, those don't sound scary.
Which wood devil thingies?
I don't know. You talked about it.
Oh, the ones I talked about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember what they
hide
were.
behind
But
trees.
yeah, because they're scared of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were cute.
So that's not scary.
Yeah, that's not
But
scary.
it's like scary adjacent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's scary's like not scary little sibling.
Weird.
Yeah.
Weird and spooky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was fun. I really liked that.
Yeah.
That was cute.
So we both really dove into nature in this one.
Yeah. Yeah.
For
We did.
very different.
Drastically different nature. But nature nonetheless.
Nature nonetheless.
Wild in the wild.
Wild in the wild.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how we're going to make that work with Idaho, though. Idaho. Wild in the wild. There we go. Done.
Done.
Fuck yeah.
Or wild in Idaho's wild. No, I don't like that
No,
as
I don't
much.
like that.
Yeah, no.
I'll just do Idaho, wild in the wilds.
Yeah.
No. What is it?
Well, yeah. Wild in the wild.
Wild in the wild. I don't know why I added an S.
Where did you add the
I
S?
said wild in the wilds.
Oh, yeah, wild in the wild.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, look, we just did half of the job.
Yeah. Well, really, ChatGPT helps me with that job. Because I just am not clever enough by myself.
Oh, yeah, no. Not me either.
So when we have something that's similar like this, easy.
Oh, easy peasy.
But typically we don't.
No. Yeah, we go drastically different. Well, because I'll try to look at what you have and I'm like, how different can I be?
Yeah. Sometimes we can be the same.
Sometimes.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Rate and
Follow
review.
us, all the things.
Follow all the things. We'll send stickers. Just let us know if you want a sticker. We'll send
Scary
it.
State Podcast for everything.
Yeah. Then the email is scarystatepodcast@gmail.com.
We made it so simple.
We really did.
So you can't screw it up unless you tried really hard. So don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So stay scary.
And stay safe.